Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jason, and this is Art of Creation Homestead. We're inside the kitchen today. Alright, Angela Kay has decided she wants to make a version of a white chicken pizza that uses some fresh ingredients from our garden. Alright, so we're going to turn this thing around here. She's already got her dough made and patted out, getting ready to put in the oven. She's going to explain everything here because she's the brains, I'm the camera guy on this one. So, let's go.
Okay, this is going to be a white pizza with chicken and blistered cherry tomatoes.
And
a little bacon.
And
some basil.
okay.
Okay, now here we've got pizza crust. I made my own. You can use store-bought. I would not recommend the pop and fresh can. If you do store-bought, I would do frozen. Or you can make your own. If you don't have a recipe, refer to the sausage and kale calzones. That's my pizza crust recipe. That makes a very large amount. It probably makes enough for two, so you can divide that in half and freeze half for a later pizza. Or you can make two pizzas. You can either make this in a round pizza or a sheet pan pizza. Sheet pan pizza will probably work best for it because the thicker crust will help a lot. So what you want to do, you want to put olive oil, drizzle some olive oil down on your sheet pan. And as you can see, I have mine covered with foil. That's just for ease of cleanup and ease of cutting. And you want to pat your dough out into your pan and stretch it to as close to the edges as you can get it. Then you want to push up a little edge around the outside, like you see that I've done here. And then in the middle, you see where it's all craggy. You do that by doing this. Just poke your fingers in. And it helps hold the white sauce much better if you do this. So you just want to leave little dimples all over it. See?
That's silly.
But it works.
It works. It makes perfect sense.
It works.
It makes perfect sense. It's just funny to watch.
So you want, with a white pizza, you really should par bake your crust. So you want to put this in the oven in a 450 degree preheated oven for about 8 to 10 minutes until you start to see that it's about half to 3/4 done. So we'll be back and I'll show you how to make the sauce. Okay, now we're going to make our white sauce. And in this pot we have 2 tablespoons of salted butter, and we're just going to melt this butter in here. We have it over medium heat because you don't want to do too high. It will go too fast and get too thick and possibly scorch. So you don't want to do that. That's also part of the reason that you want, with a white pizza, it's also part of the reason that you want to par bake your crust, is because you don't want your white sauce to do something funky in the oven while you're waiting for your crust to get done. So once your butter is melted, you will add 1 clove of minced garlic, and this is our fresh garlic, and you will just let that garlic almost melt. It will almost melt into your butter. As you can see, the garlic and butter is all melting together, and the garlic has become very fragrant. So now when you get all bubbly like that, now you want to add your flour. Add 2 tablespoons of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. You want to make a roux, and it's going to get very thick and pasty. And what you want to do at this point, you want to add a good little, probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. You will probably adjust it later. And a good little grind of black pepper. And you want to let this cook for about 30 seconds to a minute, just to let that raw flour taste cook out. Now, we're going to add in very slowly, just a little bit at a time. We are going to add in 2 1/4 cups of milk. Now I'm just adding about 1/2 cup at a time, because otherwise your sauce will become lumpy. And you don't want a lumpy sauce. You want a nice smooth sauce. So whisk it really good. After each time you add a little, whisk it really good so that it becomes really smooth. And then when it starts to become pasty like that again, you add about 1/2 cup more.
It's almost like you're making a gravy type at first, right?
Yes. And you just want to keep adding the milk slowly. Now as it starts to be obvious that it's not going to lump up on you, you can add a little more than 1/2 cup at a time. But right now it's still at that stage where it can still lump up on you. So you just keep adding. And by the end you will get a nice thick sauce.
Now while Angela's finishing up making that sauce, I'm going to show you what the crust looks like. She just pulled the crust out of the oven, okay? How long was it in there, Ange?
It was in there
about 10 minutes?
About 10 minutes.
It was in there about 10 minutes. Alright, now this is what's going to look like at the par bake stage, okay? Now you see it looks almost done on the outside, but if you were to touch it, you would know it's not done on the inside. So, because it's obviously not baked through, and that's fine. That's what you want. You want a little seal to the crust right here so that it holds the sauce without dripping in and making your crust all moist and mushy feeling, okay? A good breaded crust with a good sauce on the outside.
We've got all the milk in now, and it's starting to heat up. Now you want to let this go until it's all heated up and it's nice and thick. It won't be like pasty thick, but it will be thickened from this, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's thick enough. As you can see, it is thickened a lot.
Very nicely.
When you stick a spoon in, see it coats the back of the spoon, draw a line down it, and see it's not running back together across that line. That's how you know it's ready for the next step. And see, when you whisk, it's also leaving whisk trails, but it's not so thick that it's like paste.
Right.
So now you want to turn your heat off, and we're going to add in about 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And this is going to start thickening it up more. And you want to whisk that in till it's all melted in. We may add a little more. It depends on how thick it gets. You may add a little more, you may add a little less. And as you can see, it's getting pretty thick, but I'm going to add just about 1/4 cup more. Well, the whole thing wanted to come in, but don't let it.
No, the whole thing's too much.
The whole thing's too much. There is such a thing as too much cheese. I know that's a sin for me to even say that, but there is such a thing as too much cheese sometimes. And see, now you've got a really good sauce going on. It's getting nice and thick. See, it's getting nice and thick now. It's kind of what you're looking for right there. At this point, you want to taste it for seasoning. And we do need just a little bit more salt, just a little pinch, and a few good grinds of black pepper.
One thing about a white sauce is it can take some pepper.
Yes, it can. And see, that's actually getting very beautiful right there.
Good looking sauce.
I'm going to add just a little sprinkle more cheese.
Can't help herself, people.
No, I can't. But it needed a little more cheesy flavor.
Yeah, it's fine.
There we go. Now that's a beautiful
It's a good looking sauce
there.
there, Miss Angela.
Okay. Now we're going to take it over here and put it on our crust. Okay. Now our crust is ready. I have sliced about a pint of cherry tomatoes in half. I have roasted 1 chicken breast just with simple salt, pepper, and olive oil. And I have fried about 4 pieces of bacon and just crumbled it. Okay, now we're going to put our sauce on our par-baked crust. And that it is a beautiful sauce.
Oh, it's tasty.
It may or may not take all of it. It depends on how big your pizza is. It depends on how big you made your pizza. And it will thicken up more as it goes. But you want it a little looser when it comes to a white pizza. You want your sauce just a little bit looser. You don't want it like the consistency of a red sauce. If you see the crust through your sauce, then you want to add just a tiny bit more. Okay. Now, on top of this, we are going to add our shredded chicken. You're just going to drop your shredded chicken all over the top of your pizza. If you don't like shredded chicken, you can just cut it in cubes, little bite-sized pieces. To me, I like the shredded chicken, but you can do what your family likes. Okay, you just want it evenly distributed. You don't want some people to get a piece of chicken and other people not get any chicken. That's not fair. Now, we're going to take our bacon and we're going to crumble our bacon over the top. Everything's better with bacon.
Just a little bit of bacon never hurt nobody.
Nope. And that little pop of smokiness is just going to make this even better.
I agree.
Okay. Now, we are going to add mozzarella cheese. And once again, how much you add depends on how much cheese you like on your pizza and how big you made your pizza. This pizza is pretty big. So we are going to be adding probably about 3 cups.
Yeah, I'd say about 12 ounces. Yeah. Right at it.
Make sure you get to the edges. Okay. Now comes the cherry tomatoes. We have cut these all in half. And like I said, it's about a pint. You can put as much as you want, as much or as little as you want. And you want to put them cut side up and just kind of nestle them down into the cheese. Just kind of push them down in there. Just make sure every little piece gets some love with some tomatoes. Okay, now all of our tomatoes are nestled down into the cheese. Now we're going to sprinkle even over top of the tomatoes just a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese. It'll add just a little salty bit, and it will also help season up those tomatoes and just give them an amazing flavor and a little crusty top. Now we're going to put this back into our 450 degree oven, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, as you can see, we got it out of the oven.
Beautiful pizza.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Did you broil it a little?
Yes, at the end I broiled it just a little to get a little bit of crusty brown on top.
And kind of finished getting those
blistering the tomatoes a little bit.
Really nice. That's exciting.
So now while that's resting, because this needs to rest for probably about 5 to 10 minutes.
At least, yeah. Because
it needs to cool down, because that white sauce gets a lot hotter than a red sauce.
Yeah.
So you don't want to burn your pie hole.
Mm.
So I'm going to show you how to chiffonade the basil while we wait. So you want to stack up your basil leaves, biggest to smallest, and you want to roll them up like you're rolling a cigar. And then you just take and cut little slices, thinner slices. You don't want to go real thick, just about like what I'm showing you here. And you just cut through the whole roll. If you don't like fresh basil, or don't grow it, or don't have it, you can leave this out, but it is going to add something special.
Oh, it's gonna be very nice
and
in
see,
this pizza.
When you do this, now you've got pretty little basil confetti. Okay, now we're gonna sprinkle our basil confetti over our warm pizza.
That's beautiful.
I think it's ready for its pictures.
Nice.
We'll be back and let Jason taste it.
Okay, I've been waiting all day long for this. I gotta be honest with you. I wasn't good for anything at work today. I was thinking about this dang pizza. so let's give it a taste. I love tomato and basil. Oh wow. Heck yeah. I'm a pepperoni pizza lover, okay? But this right here, this is phenomenal. Fresh tomato, fresh basil, beautiful, delicious sauce with some chicken, a little bit of bacon, a great crust. Angela Kay does a great crust. You just can't beat it. It's a very fresh, bright flavor, but still got the indulgent flavor that you look for in a pizza as well. It's amazing. So I'll tell you what, if you subscribe to this channel by now, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications so that you can see when we put up more videos. We're going to do this a lot. Show how we use the food that we grow, show you how to grow it, and talk about canning, cooking, preserving the food, raising chickens, all that other stuff. So thank you guys for watching so much. My name is Jason. The brilliant one there behind the camera right now is Angela Kay. We love you guys. God bless you and goodbye.